Okay, everyone, good afternoon. The time is now 12 o'clock p.m., so we will get started with today's webinar. My name is Veronica Parker with AEBG TAP. Today's webinar is focused on the upcoming data submission, which is due on April 30th. So we're going to be going over some data submission guidelines with Martha Perez of CASAS. It's also a wonderful chance for anyone to ask any questions that you may have prior to the upcoming data submission due date. So that's what we're going to use a lot of our time today is asking and answering any questions you may have. So before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items with you. As you all know, please be sure to post any questions you have in the chat pod. As I just mentioned, today will really be focusing on addressing any questions you may have prior to the upcoming data submission due date. So please be sure to use the chat pod to ask any questions. Throughout the webinar, Martha will address your questions. If she does not address your question as soon as you pose the question, please just give her a little bit of time and she will get to your question as soon as she's able to. This webinar will also be recorded and available on the AEBG website later on this afternoon. In addition, there are other webinars that have to do with data submission guidelines that are also archived on the AEBG website. So please be sure to check out all of the webinars and resources that are available to you to prepare your data submission. If you are experiencing any technical difficulties, so your screen has gone blank, you're in the room, but you are unable to hear me at this time, but you think that someone should be talking because it's after 12 o'clock. Any of those issues, please be sure to let me know in the chat pod and someone will address you via a private chat to answer any questions that you may have or address any technical difficulties that you may be having. Right now, if you are hearing me speak, but you are also hearing an echo, it could be because you were signed in more than once. As I'm looking at the attendance roster, I see a couple of people are signed in more than once because there is a number 2 next to their name. If this is the case, please exit out of Adobe Connect and come back in, and it should remove the echoing so that you no longer experience that technical issue. If you have any technical assistance requests, support requests, or are in need of professional development, please be sure to reach out to AEBG TAP. We can be reached via 3 methods. You can submit a support request via the AEBG website. You can email us at tap@aebg.org, or you can give us a call via our 800 number. Those are all methods to reach us, and we will respond to you promptly. Another thing is an evaluation will appear on your screen at the end of this webinar. Once this evaluation comes on, please be sure to fill it out for us. It's our way of gauging your feedback and then making any necessary improvements for upcoming webinars. In addition, we are able to address technical assistance and professional development needs. We have received several responses from the field about the number of reminders that are sent out, and we definitely appreciate your feedback and we appreciate the urgency in completing our evaluation by doing so when it appears on your screen. We greatly, greatly appreciate that. Because all of our evaluations are anonymous, we are unable to identify who has completed the evaluation and who has not completed the evaluation. Therefore, our system will automatically generate a reminder email. If you receive a reminder email and you know that you have completed the evaluation, you can disregard that reminder email. It will come to you twice. So tomorrow, and then it'll come again on Thursday. But if you've already completed the evaluation, please just disregard it. Because we want everyone's honest opinion and feedback, we would like to keep our evaluations anonymous, and therefore the system will automatically generate your evaluations. If anyone has any other questions regarding that process, please be sure to reach out to AEBG TAP and we will address your concerns at that time. Now I would like to pass it over to Martha, who will get us started with AEBG data submission guidelines. Martha?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Once more, this is for data submission guidelines, and this is for your data from July 1st to March 31st. So we'll go over to what needs to be there and also ways how to submit it. All right, so focusing on our third quarter data. We need everything contained from July 1st to March 31st. As you need to do is all you just need to do is just to generate an ABG data integrity report and email that to us at CASAS, and we'll give you the address in just a few minutes. And you don't need to actually submit any data as it's already contained in our online servers. So just send us the DIR. All right. So let's talk about what is in the data. For AEBG, we need an entry record and all the demographics completed. So the entry record, the bottom part of the entry record is the class enrollment, program enrollment, and we'll be talking about students that are just getting services received and not enrolling in a class in just 1 minute. You'll also need a pre-test for those students who are enrolled in an ESL, ABE, and ASC programs. They will require a pre-test and as well as a post-test for those who have achieved enough hours of instruction. There might be some that probably have not achieved enough attendance hours, but they'll definitely need one by the end of the fiscal year. An update record, you'll need the update record to show what outcomes they've had, the ones that aren't addressed through pre and post testing. So we'll go over that in a little bit, and also the attendance hours. All your attendance hours for those students from July 1st to March 30th need to be included in your data. All right, so on the entry record, if they are enrolled in one of those 7 ABG programs, or the 7 program areas, you absolutely will need name and address, their demographics, their gender, date of birth, educational background, and barriers to employment, all of the required demographic information, and any special programs that might apply, you will need to provide that. If you've got students who are serving but aren't going into a class, that you're serving them, but they're not really enrolling in a class or in a program. And this could be the case of those students who were just in for orientation and took a pretest, or just came in to inquire about your services. Then these would just need to be recorded services. Of course, if you can collect demographics, they are welcome in the system. And these are listed towards the right-hand side. The student name and address, demographics, labor force status, as much information as you can provide, that would be great. But if they're not really enrolling in a class or in a program, then just definitely record the services that you provided and mark the date that these services were provided. Okay. I don't see any questions in this regards, so we'll just move on. Pre and post tests. These students who are enrolled in any of the ABE, ASC, ESL programs will definitely need to pre and post test. Those assessments approved by the NRS would be for ABG agencies would be posted on our CASA's website, and other assessments that are also approved will be found under the ABG website, which I believe it directs you to the NRS website, and they'll just let you know which assessments are approved. I see a question from Alston. Dear, does every single student need a post-test, even they are under 40 hours of attendance? By the end of the fiscal year, if they haven't achieved 40 hours of attendance, that is a very good question, because we don't recommend post-testing a student if they don't have enough hours. Otherwise, you will not get better gains. For you to get better gains, CASAS recommends 70 hours of instruction. The 40 hours break, it's the legal break from NRS, the National Reporting System. But of course, if you have somebody who has achieved over 70 hours of instruction, you'll definitely get better gains for those students. So I see another question from Sharon. Services without enrollment. Where is that marked? Directly in TOPS or in ASAP? You can mark them directly in TE if you'd like, but if you already have an attendance system like ASAP, you would be recording them in there. However, you will need to import that data from ASAP to TOPS Pro Enterprise through an import wizard, and we'll talk about that in just a moment as well. Let's see another question. So the answer is no. If a student does not have 40 hours of attendance by the last day of school, we do not post-test them, right? You can definitely post-test them. It doesn't mean that you cannot test them, but you will achieve better gains if they have more hours. But definitely go ahead and post-test them because that will have a pair score, a pre and a post. So Kevin has a comment. Services received can be posted at the student detail page level in ASAP. Okay, that is a very good answer. Thank you, Kevin. And in TOPS Pro Enterprise, you can go to students. Let's see. I have my TE open here. You can go to students, record students in program years. You can also go to record students records for the career services received, but for all the other supportive services, training services, or transition services, you can go to records students in program years. Okay. All right. Moving along here. Let's see, update record. So the update record on those students who have progressed or received any additional training or who have progressed and that not necessarily is shown through the pre and the post testing, you will need to record the date of update. So there can be more than one in a year. So if you have like 4 approximately, that would be great. At least 4 for a student within a program year. Class ID would need to be recorded as well, and instructional program, and of course services that they have received that are not shown through the pre and post test. Any other services that they received, as well as any other progress that they've done. Learner results, the same thing. Any other progress that they've done through the classes and probably throughout observation in the class, not necessarily shown on the pre and the post test, then that also needs to be recorded in the update record. And if the student has left the program, you also definitely need to submit or need to enter another update record for the student and the date that they left the program. So let's see here, the pod. If the students multiple times, if we tested them multiple times, will the system take the best set of pair scores with the most gains or just the first set of pairs? So the system, TOPS Pro Enterprise, usually takes the first test as the pretest, the first recorded test, that would be the pretest, and then the best gained for pair scores. We definitely like you to please observe the hours of instruction so you don't go into abuse the testing for the students, like over testing. You don't want to over test them. Let's see, we have another question. We are an independent study high school diploma program serving students needing from 1 through 40 credits to finish. We've only recently acquired CASA's pre and post testing capacity. Any cautions? In regards to monitoring credits, I believe every district has different ways of measuring the credits. I would suggest you would contact us directly for a more specific or a more detailed orientation on this behalf, if you don't mind, Daniel. If a student qualifies, I have another question. If a student qualifies for payment points, this doesn't mean that he or she earns any payment points. What do you mean, Dana? And I'd like a little bit more clarification on your question. So yeah, I mean, they might be qualified. You can run a payment points monitor report on a specific student if you like to see they earned it or not, and if they need some other additional information, the monitor will tell you what is there else that needs to be entered or required, or if they have a drop reason, it will let you know. So I suggest running the payment points monitor on a specific student. So they may qualify, and but there might be some other additional progress that needs to be done that might be really simple for you to update that. Okay, let's see. Ramona, do we submit an update record for each class completed? For example, a high school diploma student has completed 5 classes in the school year. Do we complete an update record for each class? Yes, that is very important because an update record would go attached strictly to a specific class or on a that goes attached to the student record itself. Um, so you will be, if you use the entry update record for like paper, or if you use the one in electronically in TOPS Pro Enterprise, then you would be specific about the class that they have been achieving or getting gains. Okay. All right. Okay, Sherry, you're welcome. All right, let's see. Moving along with our presentation, attendance hours. I've heard that from many agencies out in the field have been getting a little bit of trouble trying to import attendance hours. For those of you who specially use an attendance system, such as the ones mentioned in the slide, ASAP, Schoolhouse, AIM, or Banner, these all communicate with TOPS Pro Enterprise. And even if you don't have any of these attendance systems, you may have your own developed system where you record or the attendance hours, or you may just use paper pencil, and then you can go into TOPS Pro Enterprise and add those hours, either a third-party export process or manually. So we have different ways of entering those hours. You would go to Records, Classes, Records, for you record as a class, record those hours, or you can go straight to the class, Organization, Classes, Instances, and select your class that you're trying to add attendance for. I see another question from Isabel. When you create an update record for high school students with some credits completed, that information is not showing in the DIR. How come? So for those high school diploma or high school students that have credits might not be transferred over to TOPS Pro Enterprise. And let me see here. I have some notes from Jay. So in regards to credits, well, the DIR is a inventory some sort of inventory of your data. So what is contained in the DIR, you will definitely is a reflection of what we have. In regards to the credits, I don't see, I would need to see your DIR, Isabel, if you don't mind. I can contact you back. I have a small note pad here that I'm going to try to get back to Isabel on one-on-one basis, if you don't mind. Okay. I see another question. I think high school students have to meet minimum age requirement, but it would be wrong. High school students have to meet a minimum age. In this regards, the high school diploma students, if they're in the adult program, then there is a age break for meeting the adult school programs and not concurrent. Okay, so Isabel is 11B on the DIR. Okay, let me have DIR really quick. 11B. Achieved educational functioning level gained with high school credits earned. So if they're not showing there, we would need to verify the import file, see if they're transferring correctly from one system to another. Okay. Age requirement. Okay, I have another question about the age requirement that also involves high school. Quick question. Age requirement for students. I understand that age must be 18 or more for ABG. How do you calculate age? Well, how you calculate age is of entering the date of birth, and as of July 1st, that would be definitely with the date of birth as of the day you are running the report. So if a student has a birth date after July 1st and you are running a report after that time, then it will calculate the right amount, the right age. Okay, so Isabel is not transferring. You are doing it directly in TE. So if they don't have, they must have a, in the DIR, they must be enrolled in one of those 7 ABG programs, program areas. And if they don't have a class enrollment, they might not also be in there. So we'll need to verify your DIR if you'd like. Okay. All right, so let's see. Sure, of course, Isabel. I can contact you after our webinar, right immediately. I can give you a call and we can address this one-on-one basis. Okay? I already have your name noted here on my notes. Okay. Okay, thank you. I have your phone number now too. Thank you. But we do have it on our contact database, but I'm just going to note it down as well. All right, thank you. So it says I am interested as well. I am showing no gains as well. Okay, Sherry, I'll also note down your name. All right. And we can do a conference call with both of you on there. Or we can do it separately as well. Okay, Ramona. What's your agency, Ramona? 1851. Okay. All right. Okay, so Stephen, yeah, I think I wasn't very clear on the age calculation. I will also, if you don't mind, I can get back to you individually. This is a very good question, which I need to gather more information on. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me go through. I have your name, Stephen, as well. get back to you on that one. All right, so our next slide talks about improved literacy skills for the high school diploma students. This is fairly new in progress towards getting the diploma. For any of those participants who have improved from ASC low, and this is on the functioning level, to ASC high, and any of the NRS approved assessments, and also who did complete enough high school credits. So in order for them to advance from the 9th to 11th grade towards the 11th and 12th grade levels, which is ASC high, from ASC low through ASC high. They will need to have an instructional program or enrolled in the high school diploma instructional program, and their instructional level will be either ASC low or ASC high. You know, either if they have a great gain on the pretest or if they are self-reported. So on the entry field, number 18, you can observe what instructional level. So you can either self-report that, however it's observed on the student, ASC low or ASC high. And this would be on the entry record. Now, for those ASC low students, if they achieve outcome by marking the self-reporting ASC high, or if they earn their high school diploma, which also needs to be recorded under the update record. If they earn that, they should mark that as educational learning results. Passed the high school diploma, earned a high school diploma, or any of the equivalencies, high set. And if ASC high, this learner has achieved an outcome by marking the high school diploma program. I see other questions here. We have experienced significant discrepancies between ASAP version 3 and TE attendance files. Okay. So these attendance files inquired both ASAP and TE tech support, and we're told that issues did indeed exist. Can you speak to this at all? Have there issues? Okay, so that's a very good question, Daniel. ASAP, I understand they've made some updates on their system. Well, we're constantly updating the software as well as other companies. So what I have observed in those customers that I am able to see their screens and they're using ASAP, they are required to mark or select a period, a certain period of certain period, like let's say summer, fall, winter. And once they export their attendance hours, I believe it brings records from that particular period that they have selected. It would be great if accumulated hours can be exported out altogether so they're recorded at once in TOPS Pro Enterprise, regardless of the different records that they have recorded before. If you do accumulated hours for the overall amount at the end of the program year or towards the end, you will show that number reflected accordingly. But in this case, I believe we still need to work with ASAP, or agencies would need to work with ASAP on how to get that export. And that is what I have been personally experiencing with our customers that call us every day with this type of importing, this type of records. Okay, I see another question. If there are 6 students who earned the high school diploma and are identified on DIR, but there are only 4 students are recognized on the payment points report. Why is that? Again, Dana, you can definitely run the payment points monitor for the reminder to students and verify what is there that they need to also meet. Sometimes they haven't been marked as, if they have earned the high school diploma and they have a pre-test of 236 and above, then they should definitely earn a payment point for achieving the high school diploma. So we can run that monitor report again to verify what is there that still needs to be done on a specific student. Maybe hours haven't been entered, or maybe there's something, might be something slightly missing. Okay, so Jill has also answered some questions from Daniel, so please go ahead and read below the chat pod, please. Okay. And then Isabel, to the progress towards diploma is what my question is all about. Okay, the progress towards diploma, that could be a long topic, but definitely it's included in this slide, and we can definitely address it when I call you a bit later. Okay. Okay, now importing, oh, you're welcome, Dana. Importing data from a third-party system. You definitely need to have exported files from in a CSV format from your attendance system. We mentioned them earlier. So once you have your CSV file in TOPS Pro Enterprise, you'll find we have a wizard under the Tools menu. It's called a third-party import wizard, and you can just follow the directions for the WIOA import formats. Using those would be great. Not the old WIA, so just make sure you're in the new. And those are selected by default. Okay, now also many records can be created in TOPS Pro Enterprise. So just make sure that you update the existing records as well. And this can create like definitely new type of records for a specific student. And you can always call us at tech support. I'm going to type in our phone number and our email address. (1036), and we have option 2 for tech support. This is our phone number and our email address in case you have any questions in regards to importing process, if you have any errors, and you can always call us. We're open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay. Now, if you're not using an attendance system, which is fine, you can record. There should be some system in place, in-house system that you might be already using. You could use paper, pencil, recording all the instructional hours for your students, and at the end of the week, enter them via TE directly, manually. And you can do that through an update record if you'd like, through the student demographic. Go there and then click on the add entry / update record, so you can enter those hours directly. That would be the fastest way to do it. Or you can also go to records, classes, records. That is another way to go. And you can also go directly into the class organization, classes, instances. Once you get to your instance, you can double click to open it and click on the attendance from your navigator so you can enter the hours for all your students who are enrolled. All right, I see another question. If we have a student in high school equivalency that receives their GED in the following school year, but attend no more classes in that year, the system tosses them out for having no program or attendance. So do we only receive credit for students receiving their GED if they complete in the current school year? I believe so. Unfortunately, yes. If they receive their GED in the following school year, and are not currently enrolled or did not attend any classes, then yes, unfortunately. Okay. So if they're no longer in your school, then those gains will not be accounted for. All right. So any other questions about attendance as far as manually entering them? Okay. All right. Moving along here. This is a way of taking daily attendance in TOPS Pro Enterprise by going to the class instance. You can go to the class instance in the organization menu, organization classes instances, and double click on your class so you can enter either daily attendance if that's what you're choosing to take, or you can wait until the end of the week, or you can do that twice a month or once a month if you have an attendance system. You can do export hours at least once a month. But that would be great. That would be continuously recording the hours of instruction and continue with the period of participation for those particular students. I see other questions in regards to a student can receive up to 9 payment points, 3 payment points on EL Civics, 2 payment points on citizenship, 3 payment points on 243, wow, and 1 payment points on classes completed level or advanced level. Yeah, I believe so. They can receive up to 6 payment points for all those additional assessments and citizenship. I believe that is correct. However, I need to double check the total amount of the max amount of payment points. I know in regards to additional assessments, there can be up to 6 payment points, and then another one for achieving a level or completing. And those 243, which are IELCE, I will need to get back to you, say, if you don't mind, to the total exact amount of maximum payment points that a student can achieve, because I'm not too sure about some specifics in there. Okay, payment points. Sorry, I'm just taking a couple notes here. And this chat will be available, right, Veronica? Okay. I have another question here from Isabel. The issue with taking daily attendance in TE is that all students are showing students marked as gone. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Isabel, in regards to all students are marked as gone from the program, from the class. The daily attendance that you're taking in TE. I don't. So they're showing as gone from the program. Have they been updated? Maybe. Okay. Well, we'll wait until she gets back to, and I can read another question. What if a student is still attending this year but received his GED at the end of last year? Can we count him as this program year? That is a very specific question that would need to probably be addressed from Jay's point of view, Jay Wright. If they weren't enrolled last year in a program and they received their GED, but they weren't enrolled in any program or in any class, then I don't know. We can count them for this program year. We need to address that with Jay Wright. Causes, I don't think we can count them, but we can definitely ask and see if this is appropriate. All right, so another question about period of participations. They do apply to WIOA agencies. That is correct, only WIOA. And the payment points are also WIOA. So You are correct. We would need to address that on a separate webinar over on CASA's side, but definitely these are all very good questions. Um, and we're not like to go into those specific payment points, but I'll definitely copy them and address them later on our call. Okay, ladies? Thank you. All right, so let's take a look at our presentation here. Daily attendance in T can also be entered, as well as student update or student update cumulated attendance hours can be collected through TE manually as well. Now, checking for completeness of your data. You will need to run the DIR under the Reports menu, under State Reports, California, AEBG, Data Integrity. And this is the inventory of your data that you have collected through the program year. So some of you may already know how to run the data integrity report. Most of you, I believe, but if not, you can go to the Reports menu, State Reports, California, ABG, Data Integrity Report. So when this report pops up, it's going to look like the picture we have on the screen right now. And all the ABG programs will be checked automatically by default. So you can just select the date ranges if you'd like, fiscal year to quarter 3. This should be reflecting quarter 3. So you can include dates from July 1st, include all the data from that day until March 31st. Okay, so this is actually showing a slide from the previous quarter. It should be really quarter 3 and July 1st to March 31st. In the summary information, it will appear all of those students who have received services and weren't really enrolled in any of the 7 program areas, and also give you a total number of students who enrolled or have received the services, or combination of both. It also gives you the students who achieved outcomes but are not really enrolled in any of the 7 program areas. And also, you can enroll these students on any of these 7 ABG program areas in order to be able to claim the outcome for the students. If you see the students not enrolled in the 7 ABG programs, but you are sure, you're definitely sure that they should be enrolled, you may want to go through their program program enrollments. You can go to records, programs, enrollments, and see who are enrolled in there. And you can run a filter if you'd like, and you can always call tech support for assistance on running specific filters and showing the opposite information, those students who are not enrolled. Okay. All right. I don't see any more questions. So right now, moving along with the data integrity report, these first 9 items are required elements for those students who, for all your students. And if any of these requirements are missing, this can definitely affect your outcomes in your data. And the other rest of the items, 10 through 25B, these will reflect the all the totals in regards to your database. And we'll be including items that may be missing, some specific key information. But the first 9 are specific keys that need to be entered, like date of birth, gender, and outcomes, and other important elements. In the item count, you can right-click on the item count to be able to drill down or get the student records or add or edit more information if you'd like. I see another question. Alston sent ASAP a request for info on this topic, but haven't received a response yet, so I'll ask here too. The students listed on the DIR in our reports not enrolled in an ABG program are all from last school year. I don't know why or how to remove them, or it is even necessary to do so before submitting the report. In regards to submitting the report, of course, you always want to submit the cleanest and most updated data. I would suggest just sending your report as is to aebg@casas.org, and you still have additional time to update your records. If they're not really enrolled in any of the AEBG programs, you probably somehow a record in program years record got created. So you can go to record students in program years and see if those students are listed there. They might not be really attending any of the programs, or they should probably not have any records for this program year, and that is why they're showing up on your report. So you can delete those program records, those student records, students in program years. That's an in program years record. I have another question here. Does the DIR shows under age less than 18 years old student population? Let me see if I have a DIR handy right now. An ABG DIR. 1 minute. I believe this report here has date of birth, and it does have missing birth date or outside of between 16 and 110. I don't know if that responds to your question. Less than 18 years old, the AEBG data integrity will show if they're less than 16 years of age, or if the date is missing on item number 1. Okay. Let me see. So Joel is also responding to Alston, and thank you so much, Joel. No. Okay, so you're Joel just wondering if you need to clear them out from ASAP as well. Well, if those records originally came from ASAP, I believe you would need to do that as well, because you would like to have your data synchronized on both systems, ASAP and TE. Yes, you can delete those records, those student program year records in TE. Okay. All right, following along here, what is next? Your agency's data in TOPS Pro Enterprise. We already have it on our online server, so there's nothing you need to do on this regards. You only need to run your data integrity report and send that over to aebg@casas.org. So this will be recording data from July 1st to March 30th, and then exported as a PDF. I would like to show you really quick my screen here in using the Rolling Hills database, so I can show you really quick how to export them. Have this ready in just a minute.
Martha, do you have it?
Yes, I have it ready. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so everybody should be looking at a TOPS Pro Enterprise screen where I'm going to run the data integrity report for ABG. So I'll go to reports, state reports. California, ABG data integrity. As you can see in the general settings under the common filters, all the 7 ABG program areas are already checked by default. So here we have 9 program areas, and those 7 ABG are included in here. So by default, they're already checked. You don't have to check CTE or anything else because they're already checked. And my suggestion would be just to click Generate. However, if you want to be specific about selecting the dates in the terms, you can do the activity date range drop down and select fiscal year to quarter 3 because this is what it's going to be selected from July 1st to March 31st. You have additional settings that you can arrange. You can select the color if you like. If you don't like the blue default, you can make your proper selections here, and I would just click this Generate button. Of course, expect a few moments to populate this report. It is currently generating and rendering, so we'll give it a few moments and we'll see how to export this in just a moment. So let me unpin this Viewer Navigator so you can see this live report, and I just generated it for the quarter 3, fiscal year to quarter 3. It'll have the date and all the description about the summary information. As you can see, there are some, once you hover your mouse over these boxes, it'll highlight the amount where you can either click directly, single left click, or you can right click to drill down on any of these other additional records, okay, as well as the services monitor. So this is very handy. If you right click and you drill down in the services monitor, this will tell you what else needs to be included in that on these specific students. Okay. So this is what our DIR looks like. It's got a couple pages for most agencies, and it will be achieving all the outcomes in the last few items in there. And whenever you are ready to send or by the due date, unless you haven't done all your updates or you haven't run all your exports, just go ahead and send us the DIR so you can meet the deadline. You can still work afterwards, the deadline. You can still work on fixing your data because this is not the end of the year yet. So you still have some time, and you can always send us an updated report to aebg@casas.org so we can update our most recent, even though you've already sent it for the third quarter. No worries. And then we have this export button. The export button will allow you to send it via email or export it and create a PDF. So this file name will automatically pop up on my screen here. If you don't have to keep that big name. You can just type in your agency's ID number. In this case, I'm running it for the Rolling Hills database. And I always like to type in the name of my agency. So it contains the agency ID and name, and that should do it. Once I click the Save button, because I had previously generated it as the same, it will give me this message. Export operation was successfully completed. And once I have that, I will attach it onto an email. I will create a new email and send it over to aebg@casas.org and attach my file. Whichever, look for your file, attach it, and send it over to this email address. Once we receive the report, we'll be processing them accordingly, marking them for reporting for ABG, and then we'll send you an automatic email that will go over to the primary contact of the agency. All right, so now let me go back to our presentation. If I remember correctly, I click on stop sharing. Oh gosh, recently shared. Here we go. All right, so everybody should be back to looking at the PowerPoint presentation. All right, so let's see. You can skip. I see more questions here. Joel is answering some of them. Thank you so much for helping. Uh, and then you can skip the date range. And Isabel, do you mean skipping the date range in selecting it for the ABG data integrity? Yes, you can definitely skip that. Okay, yeah, you can just generate as is. And it's going to include data up to today if you run it today, which is no big problem, no biggie. Okay, just a data point question. If I select current program for the DIR and should not include last program year students, that is correct. It shouldn't. It shouldn't include. If they don't have any activity within this current program year, they should not show up on the report, Stephen. All right. Okay, well, thank you so much, Joel, for responding to all those inquiries. Our next slide would be our resources. Resources for CASA's technical assistance. It's provided here. You can download this ABG data submission guidelines PowerPoint presentation from this application. And our phone number again is 1-800-255-1036, option number 2. Our email, techsupport@casas.org. And any other questions in regarding to data submission guidelines, other than the ones that we're going to address in a separate call? Okay, I see Daniel is typing something. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for attending. Thank you for allocating an hour of your time. I know everybody's very busy, but I truly appreciate you being here. All right. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I would like to thank you for your attendance. The PowerPoint presentation and this recording will be posted on ABG website. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Martha, for today's webinar, and thank you all for participating. I'm about to close this webinar, and upon closing, you will receive the evaluation. Please be sure to fill out the evaluation at this time. If you receive reminder emails, because we are honoring a request to keep all of the evaluation results anonymous. Once you receive the evaluation reminder and you have already filled out the evaluation, please just delete and disregard that reminder email. Because all of our responses are anonymous, we do not know who has completed the evaluation and who has not. So again, we apologize for any inconvenience, but if you do receive the reminder email for the evaluation, please disregard it if you have already completed it. Thank you all so much for your time and participation, and you all have a great afternoon.